Hey folks, welcome to my first Packvember video. Ignore the small wang down there. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. So, it's about time I participated in Packvember. I've been a little bit lax on videos in the last 3 years or so. And never really participated in when Packvember kind of first started. And I've acquired a few vintage computers recently. One of them's still coming. This one arrived last week at the time of filming. And yeah, I think this is the perfect opportunity. So, this is a new addition to my collection. This is the Packard Bell PB1700 CD. It has the PB450 board. It runs 486 processor, Opti chipsets, Cirrus Logic onboard video, and comes with an Aztec Sound Galaxy sound card, as most Packard Bells did. This one has a lot of its original peripherals, too. It has the original Panasonic CD-ROM drive, which requires very specific drivers from the Packard Bell boot floppy and master CD and all that. And the floppy drive is also Panasonic, so both appear to be original. Now, this computer has quite a story. When I first got it, it was disgusting, right? I bought this off a guy that also sells a bunch of auto parts and things like that, so presumably this thing was in a garage with the rest of all that stuff, right? Well, the computer came to me full of mouse poop, mouse urine, most of it on the case, some of it on the board, including in the actual PC speaker, which unfortunately no longer works because of that. I'm debating whether I want to show pictures of it because, you know, that's just kind of gross. But just picture mild mouse output. There was a bunch of mouse turds I had to get out of there. And what I did is I went over to Grateful 42's place, and we gave it a deep clean. And what I did to clean it is we disassembled the machine, took the drives out, took the board out, power supply, everything. And I used simple green and a brush to clean the case. And as far as the motherboard went, I basically took 91% alcohol and squirted it all over the board, scrubbed it down with a toothbrush, let it dry for several hours. We took it back inside, and it worked. So nothing was damaged. So luckily, the mouse output didn't really do any damage to the computer. I think I got very lucky in that the mouse problem in there was probably fairly recent. I even gave the guy on eBay a heads up to check his other items, so in case he has a mouse problem wherever he's storing this stuff. If the computer didn't work, I would have just returned it, and that would have been that. But thankfully, the computer works. What is on the spec sticker is accurate, so we'll take a look at that here. It does have a 46DX2 in it, and because of that, it's pretty capable of running up to about Windows 95. So it's a good. So when you have a DX266, it can basically be either a Windows 95 machine or a Windows 3.1 machine fairly easily. Maybe even Windows NT4. I've not tried NT4 at a 486. Maybe we should do that with this machine one day, or another machine. You know, whichever I can figure out. Probably this one, though, I would imagine. It has a 420 meg Connor Peripherals hard drive in it, which is odd to see in 1995, but there you are. It did originally come with 18 megs of RAM, but Grateful 42 is nice enough to give me a stick of RAM to bump this up to 16, which makes it very capable of Windows 95. It has local bus video, a local bus IDE hard drive interface, which is nice. A lot of these machines did back then. It originally came with a fax modem, looks like 9600 baud or something, and that modem was removed, and you could see that in the eBay pictures, and they did not put a slot blank back in, and that is how the mice got in. This is why you use slot blanks, I/O shields, and don't leave a hole in your computer, especially if you're storing it, because that's how critters get in there and mess things up. Double speed CD-ROM drive, that's still original in there. 16-bit stereo sound card and speakers. It still has the original Packard Bell sound card in there. It's an Aztec Sound Galaxy, and most of those are Sound Blaster compatible, so you don't even have to change it. You can just use it. They typically are Sound Blaster Pro compatible. Packard Bell Navigator, which we will be reinstalling on there. Now, the one casualty this computer has is that the CMOS battery is dead. And as the Nostalgia Mall has told me, on most of the Packard Bells he gets, despite them being those little soldered-on batteries, a lot of them are still good. This one, not so much. Excuse my cat scratching in the background. This has a very small soldered-on battery, which you'll see once we open this machine up, because I need to put a battery in there. It's a very small battery, so obviously it didn't have as much capacity as something like a CR2032. And luckily for me, these boards do have a connector for a Tataran battery, which is a 4-pin or 2-pin plug-in battery that you can buy. And speaking of which, I do have a diagram of the board that I can show you. You can see on this board here, there's where the battery is. It's a very small battery. Right next to it, there's a jumper, and that's where you plug in the Tataran battery, and that's what we're going to do when we open this machine up. And the speaker is right there. Unfortunately, it's dead, but luckily, on this diagram, as you can see, I can just plug in an external speaker. I can either solder a new one in or just plug another one in, but in the short term, I'm going to plug one in, but in the long term, I'll probably replace that speaker just so that it works. And there's a good overview of the board. You can pause to look at that. Again, finding this information is thanks to the Nostalgia Mall. He managed to track down a diagram of this board. Because, funny story, inside this case, there is a diagram of the motherboard. But that diagram is wrong. So, the theory between the Nostalgia Mall and I is that this case was used a lot in 1994, but this machine was made in summer of 95. So this is probably an old case that they were using. All these Packard Bells use the LPX form factor, so you could easily change boards between cases. They were probably just using up old stock of cases and stuck a different sticker on here for 1700 CD instead of something else. Because I have seen pictures of 1700 CDs and the more typical 95 era 3x3 case. So this might just be an old case they had to use up in inventory, and they just stuck a computer in there. Luckily for me, it uses a newer motherboard, so life is good in that regard. It also came with a keyboard that was very disgusting when I got it. It's quite yellowed, but it is clean now, fairly clean. Missing 2 keycaps. And if you take a look at this keyboard, you'll notice something unusual. It doesn't use the typical BTC dome slider that you would expect on a board like this. It actually uses it still uses a dome slider against a rubber dome, but the mount for the keycap is Alps. So I had to buy some Alps keycaps that were meant for a Macintosh, but I got those coming in the mail too, and that'll happen. Oh, we got a visitor. We got a visitor. Look who's curious about Packard Bells. Look at that. Let me introduce you to my cat, Cleo. She's very cute. Anyhow, that's an introduction to this machine. As of filming, I need to wait for the battery to come in before I can do anything, because unfortunately, the battery in this particular case does not. The battery is required for the BIOS to remember the hard drive settings. So I haven't been able to boot. I haven't been able to do much of anything, unfortunately. So that's just the way it's got to be. Once I get those items, we'll open it up. We can take a look at the hardware a little bit in there, and I'll show you where to plug in the battery, what the battery looks like, all the things I described earlier. So we got the setup here. We're good to go. We just need the settings saved so that the hard drive can actually work. And I also have another hard drive we can use in here that's slightly bigger. It has a 420 meg hard drive. It does seem to appear to work, but I have a better one. I have a 1 gig hard drive that we can use, this Western Digital Caviar. That's what we're going to put in here. Mostly because when you install something like Windows 95, you have like 200 megs left of space. So we're going to use this drive instead of the Connor Peripherals one, just for the sake of space. Something like that 420 meg hard drive would be a lot more useful in an older machine where you're stuck at that 504 megabyte limit. So, there you have it. Cleo's taking over the show, aren't you? My kitty kitty. My kitty kitty kitty. Yeah. Aren't you pretty? Aren't you pretty? Here's the rear of the machine. As you can see here, we have our power supply. We have our date code here, which is July 14th of 1995. So this is a pretty late model 486. Model PB441A. Does not have the built-in modem right here, like some of these Packard Bells did. Does have serial parallel, built-in VGA there for the Cirrus Logic video. PS2. It had a modem right here that was removed when I got the machine. And that is how the mice got in. Mice got in right through there. So put slot blanks in your machines, guys. I/O shields and slot blanks are a good thing. Use them. In this case, having a slot blank there would have prevented mice from getting in. So I installed one of mine. Also has the Packard Bell sound card in there, which is one of the Aztec Sound Galaxies. And, yeah, there you go. Pretty simple layout on the back. My Tataran battery came in, which was made in Israel, of all places, in July 2022. So this is a pretty new battery that we're going to plug in here and we're going to use. So that's a good excuse to take a look at the hardware inside. One thing I should mention is it did come without the case screws. These case screws here were a different size than any other screw on the machine. A typical computer screw is a 632. This was an M4 metric screw. Very weird. I actually took this thing to the hardware store to find the right screw for it. And luckily, Ace Hardware did have them. They have a pretty good screw section, so I managed to get one, and it fits perfectly, as you can see. There you go. Pretty fine threaded stuff. So let's get into the machine and take a look. Alright, here's the inside of the Packard Bell. There's your Packard Bell sound card right there with that crystal chipset, which is Sound Blaster compatible. You can see an OPL2 chip down there just next to that header. We've got 2 RAM slots. There is the PC speaker that does not work anymore as it was covered in mouse output. Here is the 486 DX2 that resides in here. These are zip sockets for video RAM, which is a bit different. There's your Cirrus Logic video chip. I think there's cache stuff down there. Here's the original hard drive it came with. This is a Connor Peripherals CFS 425A. 420 meg hard drive. It shows up as 426 in the BIOS. We're going to be replacing this drive with a 1 gigabyte one, at least after I see if there's any data on here. If there's an install on here, we'll just boot it up and take a look at it. But otherwise, that 1 gig drive from earlier in the video is probably what's going to go in here. I'm lucky this came with the drive and the bracket already on it, which is nice. Here's the original Panasonic CD-ROM drive. Below it, there's nothing. But of course, you could put another drive in there if you wanted. This motherboard came out pretty clean, as you can see. And, can you see the battery from here? Not really. Oh, there it is. You can just barely see it down there. There's that little battery that has gone dead. So I need to desolder that at some point, or clip it out or something like that. But that jumper right next to it there, you can see down there above the Opti chip there. That is where the Tataran battery is going to go. You take that jumper out and you install the Tataran battery, which is what I'm about to do. So we'll do that, and then we shall boot the machine up. The power supply, as you can see, had a lot of mouse activity. This is probably where a lot of mouse urine got into. This is something I'm used to from radios and TVs, not necessarily computers, but hey, new things every day. It is clean in here, though. I cleaned it all off with Simple Green, so there is that. The other thing I need to do is put a PC speaker in here, which you can plug in. Down here, I believe, is where you can plug in a PC speaker. But what I might do instead is solder a new one in, as I have a modem that has a speaker on it that I could replace it with. So I'm going to have to desolder that battery eventually, so I'll probably do them both at the same time. Maybe we'll make another video out of that, but I just want to know this machine works before I really do any serious surgery on it and play with it a little bit before that. So that's what we're going to do. So let me get the battery in here, and we'll boot the machine up. Alright, the computer is all back together, and I tested the battery. It does work. It kept the time, and it kept the hard drive settings, which we'll take a look at in a minute. So let's turn the machine on, shall we? I don't know if you could hear the faint PC speaker there. It's getting it set up. As you can see, it's keeping the time and the hard drive size, which is the most important. So we're in good shape. The computer works. Has a pretty nice Phoenix BIOS in it. Supports a variety of stuff. I guess you do plus and minus here. It supports 288 meg drives there. There you go. It does CGA. The EGA VJ is what we want. Boot sequence is floppy. You want A then C, of course. Has its 16 megs of RAM with 1 meg taken for video. So, yeah, pretty simplistic motherboard. It's a good BIOS in that it supports drives above the 504 meg limit that used to be on old 486s, and a future Packard Bell we take a look at is probably going to have that limit in place, which we'll discuss then. But this doesn't have that limit, which is why we can use that 1 gigabyte hard drive, which will be especially good for operating systems such as Windows 95 that can really need that space. Because putting multiple hard drives in a system like this is really not ideal. Maybe multiple CF card adapters. Well, even that is kind of a pain. You would almost want just one big CF card for that stuff, or one big hard drive, whichever you prefer. Whether you got old hard drives lying around, or you got to buy CF card stuff because you don't have any of those drives anymore. But we're also using that keyboard that was disgusting that we mentioned earlier, and it's working, as you can see. So let's see if there's an operating system on here. I have yet to boot this machine, and I think we should do that. Okay, dug out a pair of speakers here, so now we can hear anything if the machine boots up into something desirable. So let me just position my camera a little better, and we'll boot the machine. Let's see if there's anything on the drive. 46DX2, as you can see there. Hey, there is an operating system on here. Okay. So this machine might have a story to tell. We'll see. Hopefully I plugged the sound into the right spot. Alright. iOmega guest driver. Looks like it has the Sound Galaxy stuff set. Hey, it's Windows 3.1. This might be the original install. We will find out here in a second. Yep. Wow, this looks like it might have some stuff on it. Multipass isn't working for whatever reason. Mouse is working. If anybody knows what multipass is, let me know. Never heard of that before. Look at that. Doesn't have the system credentials on it. Holy crap, it does. Look at that. Let's get that on video. Alright, there's the manufacturer number, there's the computer model, there's the hard drive format number. In case you want the format number for a PB450, it's 555602.SCR. I'm guessing you just need the number, but this is amazing that this has the original installation on it, actually. I guess they couldn't wipe the drive because the battery was bad, so that's kind of cool. There you go. 46DX2, 66 megahertz. It does have a coprocessor. That's built into the DX2, the floating point unit. Looks like it's not configured for the 16 megs of RAM I put in there. There's your hard drive model, 420 meg hard drive. VGA chip there. Sound 16A, so it uses IRQ5. That's good. Shows you all the original stuff. Looks like the last time it was tested was 1995, July. So that was the day after it was built and sent out of the factory. That's very cool. Thank you, Lance, for writing that for us. What else we got? We have Microsoft Works. QuickBooks is on here. I'm pretty sure we should not look at that because there's probably some personal information in there. Ah, the multipass looks like it is a printer to me. Printer, scanner. Huh. This was definitely used in a business of some sort. Has Internet Explorer on it. Peachtree Accounting. Sound 16. FaxWorks. Entertainment. It has the entertainment pack from the original install. Peachtree Accounting. Man, look at that guy with the visor on. So yeah, this is its original installation. How about that? Let's see what's on the hard drive. So we have quite a few things. Sound 16A, FaxWorks, GME 95. I don't know what that is. KA demo. Yeah, this is the original installation. They never formatted this machine. That's very cool. Let's test the sound card, shall we? Go into the Voyage thing here. We'll go to the songs. And we'll do the famous Mood 2. Seems like the video is not set very high either, but it all seems to work. That's so cool. We have an original installation. That is fantastic. Let's see if it has the demo. Alright, so what I'm about to show you is something unique to some of these sort of 94 era or early 95 era Packard Bells. This is mid-95, but the installation looks like it's from 94, early 95 to me, at least as far as master CDs are concerned. So what we're going to take a look at today is the Packard Bell demo. Oh, look at that! It has a screensaver. Flying windows there. Look at that. Anyway, what we're going to take a look at is the demo that they presumably showed in places like Sears and Rent-A-Center and Best Buy, or wherever Packard Bells were sold. Packard Bells were very heavily in the retail chain, so you'd expect these to have a demo running, in the store. And this one is pretty great. See, that case style is the same as the machine we're using. Same exact case style as this PB 1700 CD. So imagine walking into a store seeing that. For any of you that are Vaporwave fans out there, you might recognize that sound from a Diskette Park tape from a few years ago. But yeah, there you go. Imagine walking into a store and seeing that demo. Oh, what an impression that would have made on the consumers at the time. Probably around 1994 in a store is when you would see something like that. Of course, Navigator was a part of that. This is an early version of Navigator. Earlier. Yeah, right into the computer.
Welcome to Packard Bell's Navigator. Welcome to the main menu of Navigator, the easy way to get to know and use your Packard Bell computer. Explore the functions of Navigator by using the mouse or the tab or arrow keys on your keyboard.
Yeah, and there you go. This is the early version of Navigator. For those of you who used a Mac back in the early to mid-90s and to even late 90s in school might think this looks familiar. Doesn't it look a bit like At Ease to you? It does to me. So you go into like Learning Center. It's a button. And you end up in a menu like this. It's very much like At Ease on the Mac, I think. But you can also switch the view to the house, which is, the more famous thing. And of course, there's no bathroom in this house, so go outside of the outhouse, Cletus. And when you click on any one of these, it just brings you back to like the original sort of menu with buttons. So it's nowhere near as spatial as something like the later versions of Navigator. So if you're going to use this version of Navigator, you might as well just use the buttons, in my opinion. It works, though. It does its job. Kid Space is on here, which is, of course, kind of fun. Version 1.0.
Hello, and welcome to Kid Space. This is the fun place to work and play. Keep your software in the bookcase. Put all your games and stuff on the shelves. The bottom drawer lets Mom and Dad organize the room. To start your software, drag things from the shelves to where I'm standing. Keep all your files and letters in the dresser drawers. Watch out for things flying around. Now, if you need more help, click on the big question mark with the mouse. Have fun!
This was such a thing in the 90s where, for kids and adults alike, they would have software like this that kind of emulated an interface you were used to, which is like being in a room with shelves and file drawers, like, paintings or whatever. It kind of tried too hard in a way, but it made sense for the time. And, this was such a thing back then. I think back, even when I was a kid, I had Macs when I was a kid, and I knew how to use the Finder. Oh. Ooh. I was about to say I knew how to use the Finder, but the Finder never had a random lizard that sounded like a dying eel or something. But yeah, there you go. That's Navigator. We had to show that because it's a Packard Bell. And let's look at Microsoft Works. I bet this is what they were using for their business. We'll see if this has any information on it. If it does, I might have to blur it out. Hopefully not. Might shed light on where it came from, though. Preferred customer, preferred company. Ah, they were smart. December 20th, 1997. So this is some... Georgia. Wonder what this was all about. Huh. I don't know. Something from 97, so we can assume that this machine was used throughout the 90s. From, 95 onward. Yeah, pretty bare bones PC for the most part. Why is Program Manager all the way down there? Move it up. Do not use. They just made a program group of stuff to not use. That's very funny. iOmega Tools. Parallel Port Accelerator. I wonder if they used a Jazz drive or a zip drive or something on this computer. That'd be kind of cool. There's the Packard Bell folder. This is definitely... 3D Dinosaur was a part of this pack. That's interesting. .3D body. So yeah, this is like a 94 master CD image. Action 2.5 is on there. And of course, it has the Microsoft Entertainment Pack on it, which has one of my favorite golf games, Fiji Golf. It also has, of course, Solitaire, which I'm sure got a lot of use on this computer. Jazzball, Maniac, Maxwell's Maniac. Chips Challenge is on here. F-19 Fighter. That's... Oh, it doesn't work. What about Chips Challenge? All right. The PC speaker is broken, so we're hearing nothing, I guess. But hey, it works. And Fiji Golf, which is one of my favorites. Wow, Lisa. So I guess the person that used this computer was named Lisa. Well, we'll play Lisa. We'll ruin her scores, I guess, from, 1997 or whatever. All right. Let's at least shoot one hole here. The wind is that way. Boom! Look at that ball go. Oh, did I get it out of bounds there? My handicap is plus 20, you guys. Alright, I got it on the fairway at least. That's good. There's no sound in this game, so you can just play it on anything. Alright, let's see if I can get the ball in without screwing it up too hard. Boop. There, I'm on the green now at least. Let's see how bad I am at putting here. Oh, I got robbed there. I didn't hit it hard enough. First hole jitters. Yeah, that's right. Am I beating... I'm beating Walt Harp. Yes! Walt Harp! Alright. Well, there you go. Pretty bare bones install. Not much to see. I'm definitely going to do my own install on that other 1 gig hard drive. I'm going to probably image this drive to preserve things like the whatchamacallit, things like the system credentials, because you don't always get those. And, yeah. There you have it. That is the Packard Bell. Okay, that was the Packard Bell PB1700 CD, based around the PB450 motherboard, 486DX2. Had its original installation on it, so I guess we're lucky in a way that battery died so that we could get the system credentials and stuff off of there. So, very lucky on my part. Machine runs great. My plans for this are to just put a bigger hard drive in it and put my own Windows installation on here. Not sure if that's going to be 3.1 or 95. Haven't really decided yet. I'm probably going to be 3.1 to start with. I might try 95 later, but I already know 95 runs well on a 46 DX2 anyway. I've run it before on a Gateway 2000 that I used to have, so yeah, there you have it. This has been a very nice foray into Packvember. So definitely a successful acquisition. I'm glad I was able to save this machine from the mouse output that was inside of it. It seems to be a good running machine now that it has a Tataran battery in it and everything. So happy days are here again, as they say. So there you have it. So let's shut this machine down. And that'll be that. Let's get out of here. And that's it for this Packard Bell. Hope you enjoyed this Packvember video. If you'd like to reach me on social media, those links are down below. And if you'd like to join our Discord, that link is down below as well. Happy Packvember, happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, everybody. Have a good one, everybody. Ciao.